And we're back and live. And tonight we're talking with Cindy Drew of the Soul Connection Investigations Group. A
Good morning or
little,
good afternoon, everybody.
little bit of a mouthful there.
I know.
That's all right though.
You
That's
must
All
have
right.
a
okay.
lot of practice after the hiatus.
Yeah, I'm out of practice. We took a little time off. Um, so Cindy, for the people that would be watching and not know a lot about you, you want to kind of tell us about yourself a little bit?
Oh, sure. I am a sensitive. I'm also a paranormal investigator. I work with crystals and oils, and I also do some angel card readings. And I am from the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area.
That's cool. So, what kind of area places you got out there in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area that you get
Well,
to go investigate?
this area is very rich and steep in history. I am actually from a little town called Harmony, and the Harmony area here has a very strong German, Mennonite, Amish, Native American, colonial kind of background. So there's many locations around here that you can go just on a daily basis and do some investigating on your own. The larger ones, like we have Hillview Manor, which is just right up the road in Newcastle. We also have some places down in Pittsburgh too. There's some jails. There's I think they're called the Carry Furnaces. I'm not sure exactly the name, but there's all kinds of locations in this area where you can go that you don't necessarily have to pay for. You just need
That
to get granted permission to enter.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a
So,
few.
what kind of places do you like to go investigate? For the people that would be watching, gummit, Joe.
Yeah. The places that I like to go are I like to go to just about any of them. I have my preferences at, like anybody else. I do like to go to historical locations, and I do like to go to personal locations. Like I do like to work with other families that are having issues in their home. And they just want to know what's kind of going on, what's the lay of the land
Mhm.
here with the activity that they're having. Um, and I also, like I said, I like to go to the historical sites. The historical sites are usually one of my favorites. So,
That's cool. So,
yeah.
what's one of the most favorite ones of the historical sites that you've been to?
Well, favorite in what sense? In the sense of that I've had the most activity
Well,
type
the
thing.
one that struck your interest the most.
Like you wanna go
I would
back again and again and again.
that I would go back again and again and again.
Well,
Yeah.
Um, let's see. That's kind of hard to narrow that down, but I would probably say Gettysburg. Gettysburg is loaded with locations. There, you can't do them all. It would take a long time to literally do them all. So that area, I think, would be a plethora of new adventures and new places. It's very rich and steep in history, as you know, and the activity
Mhm.
and the energy there is literally palpable. You can feel it the minute you walk into town or drive into town or walk on a location. You can literally feel the energy, radiating from the ground or the air around you or whatever
Mm.
the location. So that's like one of my favorite places to keep going back. The one that's actually the most memorable is Martinsburg Roundhouse in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I actually got scratched there.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a new experience for me. I've never been, touched in that way, in an aggressive way. And it was quite scary at that moment in time. But after the fact, when you decompress for a little while, you go through the evidence, it's kind of, right up there on the radar of now you want to know more. It's the
Yep.
one thing that happened where you go, now I need to find out, how did that happen? Kind
Yeah,
of
will it
thing.
happen?
So, yeah, it kind of like sparks that now you want to know more. kind
What
of
was that, Joe?
mentality.
Well, if something happens like that, you wanna go back and say, well, we do it. We go back and see if you can recreate what happened again,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
you
try
know?
to debunk our own stuff.
Absolutely, and
So
that's
if
the only
I
way it
got
should be.
I've never been scratched or touched yet, okay? But, I mean,
Mhm.
if that happened to me, I'd wanna go back to that place and see if it would happen again,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, I do know that the entity that we came in contact that day, or that evening, he was a very grumpy entity and very, protective of the space, and he just literally didn't want us in that space, and gave a couple of warnings, and we didn't listen to him. And then when it happened, he responded was, "Well, I warned you."
Yeah.
So, that was when we were like, "Okay, thank you very much. We get your point. Have a good night." And we moved on, to another section of Martinsburg Roundhouse. So,
Okay. Okay. So when you do investigations, what kind of group do you take with you? Or do you
uh,
go with, I should say?
well, I like to try to go with a well-rounded group of people. I think that's how you have a very cohesive team. I like to make sure that we have people that know how to run the equipment properly,
Mhm.
to look at the location itself to make sure, that it's safe and is okay to be in. If there's anything we need to know ahead of time to prepare, other sensitives that are honing in on their own skills and their own skill set, because not every medium sensitive is the same. We each have our own gifts and talents, and they manifest in their own individual ways. So you want to try to round out that also too. But I don't like to bring a lot of people. um, I think sometimes when you get too many people, the energy gets all muddy and
Mhm.
intertwines too much.
Well,
So as long as, yeah, I think
you
it's
also
too
get a
much.
lot of, you have too many people, then you gotta weed out all the contamination because of
Exactly.
noises they make
Yes.
and when they're talking, and you gotta go,
Mhm.
well, is that
Yes.
somebody that could have been upstairs that made that? Because there was people
Exactly.
upstairs at that point,
Yep.
you know?
Absolutely. So yeah, so you try to want to make sure you've got people that know their equipment, know the location, are comfortable with their own abilities, and then absolutely your personalities have to be
Mhm.
cohesive. You can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak.
Right.
You've got to have that balance between, leaders, followers, advisors, so on and so forth.
Right, right. So when you do your groups though, do you do male female or
Any
females or males? It just
No,
doesn't
whatever.
matter either way.
Nope. Yep. Mhm. There's one group I work with Iron City Paranormal, and their 2 lead investigators are both males. They're best friends, they've done this for years together. They're their yin and your yang, kind of thing. And then I
Mhm.
come in and I kind of supplement and bring another dimension to another layer to the investigation.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it is.
I've
It's a
just
lot of
I was
fun.
just kind of wondering if you're like a lot of the others that I've talked with too, where if you go into a an area that has kind of a negative energy, a lot of times I hear that the women are the ones that are more targeted. And
Well, sometimes, because women are viewed as inferior, especially if it's a male entity from a little bit further back generationally.
Mhm.
They don't have the best viewpoint on women or the most respect for women. Um, but I don't necessarily think that that's a given wherever you
Okay.
go. I think like I said, I've dealt with some other teams where the men have gotten touched or poked or, instant headache from being manipulated, that type of thing. I don't
Right.
necessarily think that it's one or the other.
Well, I was just kind of wondering because
Oh, yeah. No, that's
yeah.
fine. No,
Well,
I
I think it's
understand.
always good
Yeah.
just to have that balance, a little bit,
Yeah. Hmm.
because I think that the ghosts or spirits would react in maybe sometimes male or female who they feel more comfortable with too.
To interact with, yes.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that
Whether it's
could be
positive
I
or
mean
negative.
I mean, in our field, everything's all theories right now.
Yes. It's
I
all
mean,
working theories.
right, nothing can be solidly proven yet.
Nope.
There's a lot of evidence out there, but
There's a ton of evidence out there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've gotten some weird stuff too. One of our investigations,
Yeah.
we had another investigator come up and we did a night investigation out by Elkhorn,
Uh-huh.
and
Great.
the other investigator
Bray Road.
was with Bray Road. It's called the Beast of Bray Road. The other
Mhm.
investigator was with Joe, and they were up behind the barn where we had everything set up, and he had a thermal camera,
Mhm.
and in the cornfield, the edge of the cornfield, they both could see it. It looked like a bipedal type of whatever there, and I decided to walk down the trail next to the
Mhm.
cornfield, further down the field, and I got a ways down out where I couldn't even hear them, and they actually lost sight of it. And
Yeah,
when
we
I
lost
came
track
back,
of it.
what's that?
Yeah, we lost track of it. We weren't sure where it went, and you could
Yeah.
hear Dale and I saying, "Well, maybe it followed Mark, down in he
Mhm.
because Mark was, like, walking in what was left of the hayfield because the guy's got 30-something acres of hayfield.
He's got 32 acres of hayfield, and I was walking down
This
the path that he would drive the
That's right
tractor down,
alongside the cornfield, and this
and
thing was in the cornfield, and it walked towards Mark, so we you could hear us saying we believe it followed Mark through the cornfield.
yep.
Ah.
And then when I turned around and came back up and got back up to them, I actually told them that I
Yeah,
heard something in the cornfield
yeah, oh,
following me.
Oh. Well, there you go.
And
That's interesting.
on their audio, you can hear them talking about losing sight of it. On my audio, you can hear me calling it out, wanting to talk to
Oh, really?
it.
That's cool.
So we kinda got confirmation with that
and then
too.
Yeah.
later that night,
Yep.
it was between 2 what was it, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning sometime. We got chased out of there by some fast it was,
It
like,
was it was
very fast
a
and
very
very
dense, very
thick
fast moving fog.
that rolled
Mhm.
in out of
It was really
nowhere,
weird. It was clear as a
and,
bell up until then, and all of a sudden, all this just
you
started
know,
rolling in on us.
the moisture that creates that's your equipment's worst enemy. So we had to
Mhm.
pack up that equipment as quick as we could, and by the time we had it all packed up and we're going back with our flashlights just to make sure we got everything picked up and everything, that fog was gone
Yep,
Mhm.
dissipated
just
out.
as quick as it rolled in.
Well, let me ask you this, with that fog, did you feel any energy coming towards you when the fog was manifesting itself? Did you
Um,
feel anything? Did you feel anything?
Well, the only thing I think somewhere on there, I haven't totally listened to everything yet, but I think somewhere on there you hear one of us, or I think it was me that said, "I think we were being watched."
yeah, it did seem to me like there was something out there that was
Mhm.
keeping an eye on us. Because also when I was walking back to the guys, I'm still
Mhm.
by myself, the cornfield's on my right, the open hayfield's on my left. I know I heard whatever it was following me in that cornfield, and I turned and was kinda looking out over the hayfield area, and I
Mhm.
seen something that was kinda off white down by the ground, just kinda, like, take off running. I don't know if that would have been, like, some sort of animal that was out there, but it was far
Okay.
enough out. I mean, it was probably a good 20 yards from me whenever I seen it, and this is
But when
pitch
you
dark.
saw it, it was white. When you saw it,
Yeah,
it was white. It wasn't
yeah,
something that you saw white on a TV screen or
no,
on a phone screen.
no.
Okay.
When
Okay.
I saw it, when I absolutely, could see it,
Visually.
it moved visually, and we had a good moon that night too, so the moon still lit up
Crested.
some of the area a little
Mhm.
bit.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it was
it
pretty
just took off, but nothing was on my camera.
yeah, we had pretty
So I
pretty
don't
good
know if the
sight
camera
that
was in the right position on that.
Oh. Maybe.
So,
I was thinking more of the fact that it might have been some sort of like an orb or energy, a condensed energy piece section.
caught one of those on my night vision
Yeah.
camera.
Yep. Because
That whole
some
area,
people believe.
the whole area has been dubbed kind of like the Skinwalker Ranch of Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I believe
There's
the
more there.
more we've discussed this, the more I think about it. I believe that fog had a purpose to chase us off, because if you go back and look at the evidence that this guy has gotten off of his trail cams, he's constantly got, what is it, 5 or 6
He's
trail
got 5 trail cams that he sets up in different parts
and
of the
they're not
property.
they're not
He's
cheap.
got over
Like, they're high
200,000
quality.
pictures.
They're real high quality trail cams too. And if
Wow.
you look at most of the times that some of this stuff occurs, it's really early in the morning, like right around sunrise. Because all those cameras and pictures have the date and time stamps on them.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So it's like those. I don't think whatever's there or didn't want us to stay
Right.
No.
to catch that evidence that gets caught on those trail cams.
Hmm. Yep.
You know, and I think it was purposely chasing us off the land early
Yeah.
before anything seriously started happening.
So when you say like right before dawn, do you mean like around the 5, 6 a.m. time frame? Or are you looking more at the three or
It
four?
actually varies between like
Most of them are before 10
4:30
a.m.
through like 9.
4:30.
It's like
Yeah,
around 4:30 all the way through about 9 o'clock.
Okay.
yeah, 9,
Okay.
10 o'clock. And then there's a lot of afternoon stuff too, but most of the real interesting ones happen pretty early in the morning
Okay.
after sunrise.
And are you thinking it's a spiritual thing, or are you thinking it's more of a terrestrial?
I don't know.
Honestly, I
Um,
don't know.
I
Well, you
mean,
mentioned Skinwalker Ranch, so that's why I
right,
Yeah.
wasn't
right.
sure.
With everything we've seen, as far as the evidence and the stories from the gentleman that owns the property, it could even be portals, you know, where something's just coming through portals. It could be just that area's got some significant energy that
Right.
these things are attracted to that area for some reason. I don't know. It's hard to
Hmm.
explain the different types of activity we've seen as
Hmm.
far as the evidence that he's shown us.
Right.
And he is pretty, um, when you talk to this gentleman, he is not the type to be putting on a hoax.
Yeah.
He's very
Yeah.
believable and very
He's
He's
a
credible. He's a
yeah,
credible.
well,
he is
he's a
very
retired math professor.
math professor, yeah.
There you go. Yep.
And he had no idea anything about the property when he bought it.
Yep.
And he's
And
owned
that's
it for,
usually
what
how
was
it
it,
goes.
when we met him the first time a few years back in 2019 or 20, when he owned it for a little over 7.5 years, I think it was, he said at the
Yeah,
time.
Hmm.
something like that. I only mention it because I'm fascinated with it.
Yeah. Well, this past year, I've been really trying to expand my knowledge base and my research base. And how that actually came about was I was told about a series called Hellier. If you guys know that one.
No,
Mm,
Oh, you got to check that one out.
no,
Woo! There's
what's
2
it on?
seasons. It's on YouTube right now. It used to be on TV, and it was a TV show, but it's a
Okay.
documentary kind of series of this gentleman and his wife, Dana and Greg Newkirk, I believe. I believe I
Okay.
got that right. But anyway, so they go down to Hellier, Kentucky, because they get this off the wall email from some doctor with explaining certain things that are happening on his property. And it leads them down a big rabbit hole with, aliens and other beings and, Pan and all that stuff. And it's absolutely a very good series. And then the pandemic happened, and they never did make season 3. But they're still very prominent on TV. But they just have other there's project that they're working on. But then through that, then I found Skinwalker Ranch. And then I watched the Skinwalker Ranch series too. So, and there's a lot of correlations and all that. So it's just starting to, and the cryptozoology, with Mothman and, and all those.
That's down your way where that started.
Down in Kentucky, yeah. Down in, yeah.
I mean, wasn't that, where was that first sighting?
Mount Peeler.
No,
Yeah.
wasn't
it Mount Peeler, Vermont?
Point
No.
Pleasant,
Or
Virginia?
Point Pleasant. Yeah,
Yes,
Pleasant.
Point Pleasant, yes. So they bring all that into their storyline, and it's almost like there's someone kind of orchestrating each and every step that they take. It's sort of like a scavenger hunt. You're given a certain clue, and then you figure out that clue. You go to that location, and then there's another clue. And then the trail runs dry, and then another clue, and a lot of synchronicities and lots of number patterns, and it literally brings you down a rabbit hole. It really does. But it's interesting. It's so
fun.
interesting. It is. It's very fun. So check it out on YouTube. It's called Hellier, and there's 2 seasons.
HELL.
Hellier. Yep. And there's a big fan base for it too. They have Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff too, as new information comes together. Yeah, it's a really interesting series, and they do a really good job because, once again, they are also the type of people that want the integrity to be there. They don't want to just slap out some, stuff for the, the wow factor. Or the
the ratings and the money. I
exactly.
mean, yeah. I like TV shows. All right, I give them credit and give them props for putting on a good show, keeping you on the edge of your seat, making you think, and maybe opening your mind a little bit. But in reality, it's not like that. I mean,
no, it's
you're not going to go to a place and get activity all the time. We had a guest on here, and we were talking about, what was it, cemeteries, and he basically said, you can go out and sit in a cemetery, and 90% of the time, you're just sitting there talking to yourself.
Yep.
I mean, so a lot of that's scripted and pieced together from probably hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours of investigations at one location, and they take the very best of everything to put it together. And probably enhance it a little bit with the Hollywood effects. Just for the ratings and the money.
Well, just for the wow factor. Yeah, for the shock value. Yeah, absolutely. But at least my personal opinion, I didn't get that feeling from Greg and Dana Newkirk and their team. I got the feeling that they really want to bring the integrity to this type of discussion, because this is not their wheelhouse. Their wheelhouse was more of a paranormal versus, extraterrestrial or, cryptozoology or anything like that. That really they learned along the way, those types of subjects. So I didn't get that feeling from them.
It's a constant learning process. I don't care who you are in the paranormal world. Dale said it. I think I've taken a quote from our mentor, Dale. He basically said it. There's no such thing as experts in the paranormal field. You can't.
Absolutely.
No, because you're always learning every time you go out.
Yep. And every time you go out, it's different.
Oh, yeah.
And
even if you go back to the same location, it's a total different vibe.
It's going to be a different experience. Completely.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean,
and it's just like there's no experts in life.
That stuff's not going to duplicate itself all the time.
No,
exactly.
It's not.
No.
So, what kind of experience did you have that maybe changed your mind about things, or any kind of experience that you had that's really memorable to you?
Well, I've had experiences in the paranormal since I was a young child, but I grew up in a very religious home, and I was told, "Oh, you're just dreaming, or you're just, you're just hearing things. It's
Oh, you're full of
fine."
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, all those things most parents would tell a child when they have experiences, that I had, and um a lot of children have. So I just kind of like put it in the back of my head and went on with life, and every time I experienced it, I just told myself the same thing. Oh, I was just dreaming, or whatever.
Don't
But
exist. Yeah.
yeah, but it wasn't until
So,
I was later in life and I had a major medical situation come up that once I was healed, I was like, no, this is it. My whole perspective on life has changed. I am not going to just push this in the back anymore, and I'm going to go find out what this is all about, find out the 411, so to speak.
was
So
it
I
kind of
found
like
a,
a near-death experience?
yes, I did. I had a very, um,
I'm good.
medical situation that could have very easily have taken my life, and I had to fight to stay alive.
Stay alive.
So yeah, so it's when you go through
I've
something like
been in
that,
those. I've been there. Been
yeah,
there, done that.
it shifts something
So
in
it
you.
changes your whole perspective on life. You start,
It does.
when they say
Yeah.
you get close to death and your life flashes
Hmm.
before you,
Yeah.
it really does.
Yep.
And it's not always pleasant, especially if you weren't a very pleasant person to begin with,
Hmm.
you know.
Yep. Well,
And
I called it, that was my time to do a lot of shadow work. you know Not that I was a negative person to begin with. I was never a negative person. I was very socially, butterfly, bubbly kind of personality, but you know putting up those blinders and barriers to things that always, made me curious as a child, like, why am I experiencing these things? Where are they coming from? What's going on? I finally said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Life is way too short. I've been given, a little bit of a reprieve here. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to figure this out. So I did some research and I found a place called Lilydale, New York. It's up in by Lake Erie, and it's about an hour east of Erie. Okay. And
Mhm.
they are a spiritualist community, a gated community that has been there for over 140 years. And they do a lot of research and training and have classes and seminars and all that kind of stuff in the spiritual mediumship sensitivity type realm of subjects. And it is a beautiful, serene place. And I called it my little happy place. That's where I would go to escape, so to speak. And the people are
like,
wonderful. It's a gated
sometimes you got to
community.
have a place to escape to,
You do, you do.
because reality
Yeah,
tends to suck these days.
absolutely. So that's where I went, and I did a lot of research and attended some classes, and kind of, started putting two and two together and doing a lot of reading, and then just talking to people. Just literally start talking to people and
Mhm.
saying, hey, what is your viewpoint on this? Hey, what is your viewpoint on that? And just kind of getting more in touch and in tune with my own belief system, my own opinions, and then finding like-minded people.
Right. Right.
So, and that's what kind of started the journey, was finding that base of people that have that like-minded curiosity of, what is this?
Right.
And
Right.
how do we figure this out?
That's one of
So,
the things. See, I come from a background of a religious family as well, and that's one of the things that I was kind of um I kind of got driven away from it because I would
yes.
question everything. I didn't
Hmm.
care what it was. I would question everything. I actually got yelled at because allegedly questioned God,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
well, how is it? How am I questioning God if He is not the one standing in front of me
Yep.
telling me these things?
Yep.
So if I'm not face to face with Him, how is it that I'm questioning? Well, you're questioning His word. Well, how am I questioning His word? Well, you were questioning the words of the Bible. Right. The book that
Okay.
was written by the hand of man claiming to have spoke to God. How
Yeah.
is that, why can't I question
It's
that? Because
hearsay.
I want to know if that was real, if
I
that's
like that
true.
answer. I do.
What? That's hearsay.
That it's hearsay. I like that answer.
So that's the
Telephone,
kind of
tell
stuff.
Tiffany. Telephone, telegraph, tell Tiffany.
Uh-huh.
And the
Right.
story changes as it goes down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Every and there's been studies done where people have, I have a secret I want to tell you, and I'm going to tell you the secret. Now you go and tell the next person,
Yeah.
and then the next
Exactly.
person, and you go through. By the time it gets through 10 different people, and it comes back to you,
It's distorted.
it's completely opposite of what you said originally.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So that's how come, that's why, I want to know for myself. I want to experience for myself. That's what got me more interested into the paranormal. I practiced Wicca when I was 15 years old. That's when I started practicing it. That's when I started getting into it. When I wound up getting married, I put it aside because it freaked her out. She didn't understand it. She didn't want to take the time to understand it. So for her, I put it
because
aside.
she was told. She was told that it wasn't something positive.
Right.
She was told to stay away from it.
Yes. So I put it aside.
Yeah.
And now that I'm divorced and back out in the world on my own,
it's on like Donkey Kong.
I started it. Well, I started it back. I started getting back into it.
Yeah.
And
yep.
This is how I know it's real. When I got back into it, my life changed.
Mm-hmm.
Things started coming together again for me.
Yep.
I got a really, really good job where I'm not hurting anymore to try and make bills. So stuff like that, I know at that point, I know that what I believed in is real.
Yep. It's creating a positive environment for you to be able to grow into the whatever path or journey that's going to bring you the most positivity in your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's why, that's what got me into these now.
Mm-hmm.
I
know that
I get these and I sell them, and people love it.
Yep.
I make pouches.
Awesome. So, that's great.
That's what I was showing you earlier.
Oh, see, on the smaller screen, it's hard for me to see, and I apologize. But yeah,
I make stuff like that.
Good.
So I'm getting back into that.
Yeah. Well, you're feeding your soul.
Yeah, actually.
You're feeding your soul what it needs to feel whole and complete.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the beauty of opening up your mind and your perception of what you've been told in the past versus now and where you are now in your life. So that's what brings it. That's what brings it all back into circle.
Yep.
When you get rid of all the toxic stuff and you
get rid of the toxicity and you start becoming pure again.
Yes, and you're leaving more room for more positivity to come in
versus all that.
Yeah, and that's why all that negativity stays away, because now you're replacing the negativity with positivity, and it has nowhere to get in. Positivity is like a shield. So
now the only reason I bring some of this up is I looking at your the Soul Connection website. I seen some of the stuff you were posting, and you posted that your daughter gave you a crystal calendar, right?
That post.
Yes, the Advent calendar. Yeah.
Or the Advent.
Yep. So
I like that.
Every day of the month of December, I got a new crystal with, the little piece of paper that tells you the meaning of it.
Cool.
Not that I needed any more crystals, but I really appreciated them.
Yeah, but
I have a whole wardrobe full of them.
That was a cool idea.
But yeah, so and I post them because then if someone is looking at the page and needs something to help with a certain something, they'll know which crystal to go to and use it for what they need to balance for themselves. And it's a nice reference point for people that are just starting to get into crystals or anything like that, and to be able to see this crystal goes with this crystal goes with that. And I still get confused from time to time. I have my go-tos that I have, but if I'm needing something specific, I have a book called the Crystal Bible. And it's a wonderful smaller book, but it's got pictures and explanations and everything. But that can be overwhelming when the book is this thick, and you're wanting to find something specific. So that's nice to be able to have that, photographic reference too
Oh yeah,
for
definitely.
others.
That
Yeah.
might be a Bible
So.
I can read without burning my hands.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
about him.
Okay. Moving on.
So,
Chickpeas. But anyway. One thing I did want to bring up when we were
Go
talking
ahead.
about, you getting into Wicca and, and trying to find your, your little mojo there and whatnot. But
Mhm.
one thing that I get asked all the time, especially from people from the religious field that, are curious or want a reading or whatever, one of the very first questions that they will ask me, and it's so common that it's like one of the first things they ask me is, do you believe in God? And I look them straight in the face and I'm very honest with them. Yes, I believe in God of my understanding.
I like that answer.
Yeah. Yep.
It's my understanding of what God is. May not be your understanding of what God is, but I believe in a God of my understanding. And that kind of, just like that, they look me and go, oh, that's interesting, And I'm like, well, because I am a firm believer that you're allowed to believe in your version of God or your version of God or your version of God. There's tons of religions out there that they
Yes, there is.
have a name that may not be God, but it's their God. It's the God of
Mhm.
their understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I want people that come to me or that I interact with to know that just because I have my God of my understanding doesn't mean I'm going to take away from your God of your understanding.
No, and I don't begrudge
Yeah.
anybody for their
Oh,
belief.
no, I didn't mean to say you did, but I'm
No,
just
no, no,
saying
no,
that.
no, 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 no. I don't begrudge anybody for their beliefs,
Mhm.
as long as they don't try to push that belief through down my throat.
Exactly.
Because myself personally, I don't believe there's one God.
Mm-mm.
I believe there's many gods.
Yep. Mhm.
And I also
And that's
believe that everything on this planet and in this universe has a soul.
I
yes.
don't.
Well,
I told you.
okay.
If I walked into a church, people would actually believe in spontaneous combustion.
Sweet baby Jesus. Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, Cindy, go ahead to tell me what you were going to
No.
tell me, because
No.
Joe's a jerk and interrupts.
No, I'm just saying that, yeah, spontaneous combustion. Yeah, okay. And they think I'm weird believing in aliens. Yeah.
I don't actually believe. I know.
Well, I'm just saying, do I think we're alone out there? Absolutely not. We're not alone.
Well, in order for us
But
to sit here and say that we are the only intelligent species in this entire universe makes
Yep.
us so damn naive and so
Absolutely.
full of ourselves that we don't deserve to know the truth.
Yep.
Because I honestly, I believe that. Oh, there she is. I honestly believe that all these movies that we've been seeing from Hollywood, I actually believe that they were put like this or done like that in order to jade us to the fact that there are truly alien species out there, and prepare us to be able to meet them without freaking out.
I never thought about it that way. That's interesting.
Well, it's kind of strange if you think about it. Where did they get the idea back in, what was it, 1976, when Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out? For a movie like that, where did the
Mhm.
idea come from
Yep.
back then?
Yep. Absolutely.
And that movie made that national monument absolutely famous. Oh no, where'd Cindy go?
I don't know. Where'd I go? What happened? Hang on. I'm so sorry.
That's right. Did you turn your
Something.
camera off? Oh, now she's gone. Oh no. She'll be right back.
But, think about it though. Or
There she
Star
is.
Trek, even we can go even further.
I don't know what happened. I apologize.
I blame it on the aliens.
Hey, let's
Probably.
go further back than that movie. Let's go back to the original Star Trek series, and that started in the 60s.
Honestly, I wished our society was a lot like the Star Trek because that society, Gene Roddenberry had it great. Whenever he wrote that, he had it perfect.
But where
It's
did
a
he
society.
take it?
It's a society that takes a person and figures their skills and puts them to work in their skill set, and they're provided everything they need. There's no. It's not a capitalistic system. It's a system built on bettering humanity.
By
And I wish
fostering your
I
strength.
have yes, and I absolutely wish we had that now.
Hmm. Yep.
Can
No.
you imagine where we would be right now
Mhm.
in our
Oh yeah.
development if we actually had that, actually followed that model,
Yep.
took
I
the
agree.
capitalism out of it and just made it to where every advancement was there to advance humanity itself.
And is the benefit of all.
Yep.
And to the benefit of all. Yep.
We can
Yep.
keep dreaming, right?
You can say it's streaming if you want, Joe, but I honestly believe that would be an awesome thing to happen.
That it's just dreaming.
All for one for all.
When you got all them greedy bastards out there always.
Let's not get off on that. We're talking about aliens.
I'm not.
Aliens and paranormal. Aliens and paranormal.
Yes,
Paranormal
aliens
and
and paranormal.
aliens. Yep.
So,
But anyway. Yeah.
how good are you at doing your readings?
Well, to be honest with you, I do prefer cards. Because I think that I connect better with angels. I do mediumship readings. During this pandemic, though, I'll be very honest with you, with being kind of isolated a lot and so on and so forth, it's been a little bit more challenging in that department.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like a muscle. You have to keep using it in order for it to stay strong.
Yep.
And that kind of got all put on the back burner for a little while. So I was doing my card readings more than mediumship readings. But my card readings end up being mediumship readings in the end. There's like the section for the angels to come in and say, and then spirit comes in also. So I've been trying to get back into doing just straight mediumship readings. However, I'll be very honest with you. I'm the type of medium that if there's a lot going on in my personal life, that has a tendency to take a back burner. But my card readings are pretty darn spot on. So
Good.
I do really well with those. And
Awesome.
I have been practicing remote viewing in the sense of, someone will send me a picture and they'll say, tell me what you get from the picture. What are you picking up? That kind of thing. And I was doing that. I was training in that for quite a while. But then once again, the person that I was working with was dealing with, a lot of hurricanes and stuff like that. So my contact with her has been pretty minimal too. Because she's from New Orleans and they pretty much lost everything.
Oh man, they got their
yeah, they got their butt beat
they
down
got their
there.
they got their butt handed to them.
Yeah, they did.
On Katrina.
Yeah.
I don't even think they've really recovered from Katrina.
No, but then this last one that just went through too really ripped New Orleans pretty hard. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been trying to practice that a lot too, is just the remote viewing and doing the card readings and the mediumship readings. So
Cool.
I haven't had any customers that say, no, I don't ever want to talk to you again. So,
Well,
He
you
hears that
know.
all the time.
yeah, I hear that all the time. For some reason, people don't like me.
I don't like
Well, and the thing is I don't think they don't like, it's not that they don't like you. I just think the general public, and this is where education kind of comes in with it. When I have a new client that I have never read for before or had any kind of dealings with, I try to explain to them that, that not all mediums work the same way. Not all
Right.
mediums have the same gifts and talents. Not all mediums interpret things the same way. And that they have to understand that the gifts and talents that we have, we don't tell spirit what to say to you. So you may come into a reading expecting a certain response.
Yep.
They're not going to tell you anything that you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to hear.
Exactly.
And a lot of people have a hard time with that because they want to hear something so incredibly specific.
Yep.
So they can rest assured that you're not a fraud,
Yep.
and so on and so forth. And that's the first thing I say to them. I said, if you have any doubt that I'm a fraud, then I'm not your medium.
No.
If you want to sit down and you want to have this reading and we'll work through it together, great. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what they want you to know.
Yep.
That's two different subjects. And most of the general public confuse those. They think they're one and the same. That it's because they want to hear something, they think that they're going to tell them that. And it doesn't work that way.
No,
and
it doesn't.
then some people just come in completely and totally closed-minded, that no matter what you say to them, no matter what you try to convey, they're not going to pick it up whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're just
I know exactly what you mean with that.
Yeah, they're just not going to listen, because they're so closed off to the process.
Yeah. Kind of like Joe right now. He's kind of leaning back. He's closed off to everything.
Oh, whatever.
No, whatever.
No, we've been such good friends.
Hold on a
Him
second.
and I have
Hold on
been
a
such
second,
good
Mark.
friends for over
Hold on
20
a
years.
second. What happened to
to
your
pick on him.
hat? That glare is really getting to me.
I haven't polished. Hey, I haven't polished it yet. It shouldn't be glaring too much.
Oh, I might have to find my sunglasses.
Here. Come a little closer.
Yeah, I got him.
Go for it.
There you go.
Before I even met Mark, I got him blamed for something I did before I even met him.
There you go. What a way to start a friendship.
Yep. But he learned I'm an equal opportunist picker. I will pick on everybody equally. I don't care who the hell you are.
There you go. Sounds good to me.
I was playing a practical joke on my brother on my first day working at the same job with him again. And Mark got blamed for it most of the day.
Yeah, pretty much.
And my brother's kind of a bully. He likes to push his weight around.
Hey, he wasn't able to do that with me that much, though.
Yep.
No, but he wouldn't let you get out of it.
I pushed back.
He swore up and down you were guilty until I walked in later.
I know. So,
Yep.
Cindy, what is your favorite crystals to use?
Oh, I have many. I am amethyst, rose quartz, clear quartz, tiger's eye,
Tiger's eyes are
Tourmaline.
beautiful.
I like
Tourmaline, the black one.
Tourmaline,
yes. I know it. I knew it was that word. I
just
couldn't
like
pronounce
that one
it.
right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
I had this ring made special.
Oh, did you with it in there? You needed some protection, eh?
No.
Oh, you needed absorption?
Um, this crystal found me in 2016
Ooh,
on my
how did
way
it find
on my
you?
way home. Well, we went out to visit my parents in
Okay.
California. I
Uh-huh.
live in Wisconsin. So my daughter and her fiance, my grandson, me, and my girlfriend took a trip to California. And on our way back, we stopped for the night in Vegas, and then went to
Mhm.
In-N-Out Burger the following morning to eat before we took
I've
off.
been to one of those.
And when we came out from eating, I opened up the side door and I looked down, and right next to the back tire was this pouch. In fact, it was this pouch right here.
Oh,
And
okay.
I reached down and I picked it up, and there was something hard in it. And it turned out to be a piece of tourmaline about that long.
Oh, wow.
Uncut is raw tourmaline.
It's raw.
Yep.
Yep.
And if the car would have been over, if it was sitting there when we pulled in, the car would have been over about a quarter inch. The tire would have been on top of it. I would have never found it.
Yeah,
Or
probably
it
would
would
have
have never
crushed it
found
too.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
So that unfortunately was the last year I got to see my mom.
Oh, okay.
I honestly feel that the tourmaline found me to help me through the grief that was
Mhm.
coming later in
Yep.
the year.
Yep. Well, trampoline is it's a protective stone
The
crystal.
black tourmaline is a very powerful stone.
Yes, and it's also an absorbing. So it
Mhm.
it chooses whether it's protecting you and shielding you from negativity and toxicity, or it's absorbing it for you.
Mhm.
One or the other. You know what I mean?
Also, it's a transformative stone
Mhm. Well,
because
yeah.
it can help with taking negative energy and transforming it into a positive.
Mhm.
Which I actually, believe it or not, I actually have that as a natural ability. I can literally take negative energy from a person and and turn it from negative to positive. And
Very nice.
it's a weird knack. It's something that
Mhm.
I've been able to do a since I was a kid. I
Well,
can
let me
take a
ask you
person
this
that's
then.
upset. I can take a person that's upset, and I
Mhm.
can calm them down within about within about 2 minutes tops. I can have them calm.
And then what do you do to make that happen? Do you touch them, talk to them, breathe, visualize, what, or all the above?
I'm usually I'm usually I have my hands holding their hands,
Mhm.
and I talk to them.
It's a transfer of energy. Yeah.
Exactly what I'm doing is I'm
Yeah.
transferring my positive to them and pulling their
Mhm.
negative from them. Here's the problem. If I forget to release that negative energy into an inanimate object,
Yeah.
it builds
I,
in me and I wind up blowing up.
well, that's what I was just getting ready to ask you. Once you absorb it, how do you get rid of it? Because
I
that is the key right there is you cannot forget
I
to
release
release
it
it.
I release it to basically inanimate objects. I'll grab a
Mhm.
tree. I'll
Yep.
I'll walk up and touch a tree and let it go into the tree.
Mhm.
But with this
Yep.
ring, since I made had this ring made, this ring will actually help with any negative energy
Mhm.
that I may store by mistake.
Yep.
Plus,
Do you cle do you
it's got
cleanse it
opal.
too?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got opal in there too. Do you cleanse it though? Do you make sure you cleanse it?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Awesome.
I'm constantly putting energy in, taking energy out, just back and forth.
Mhm.
But
Well, there's things that you can
rarely
do to cleanse them.
do you see a Wiccan that
Mhm.
has a piece of jewelry with both black tourmaline and opal on it.
Yep. I
Two
don't
of the
know much about
two of the most
the
powerful
Wicca itself.
two of the most powerful stones in Wicca, and
Yep.
normally you don't see any Wiccan using both stones at the same time
Because of the energy.
because of the energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Then your body must have just adapted to its strength and its vibrations.
Oh yeah.
which is a good thing.
Well, the opal I had since I was 18. So
Oh, very nice.
I had it. They were both raw stones. I had them cut and placed in the ring,
There you go. That's
and
the
I
best way.
absolutely love it.
Yep. Well, and it preserves them too.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and they
definitely.
stay with you. Yeah. hmm
But
Absolutely.
yeah, amethyst. When you mentioned amethyst, I had a feeling you would because most everybody does like amethyst
Yep.
because it's more of a protective stone.
hmm
It's
Yep.
used for more protection. Um,
hmm
Rose quartz. That's more of a healing,
Yep.
um, purifying stone.
hmm Yep.
And then your
It promotes love. It promotes love
yes,
too.
lots of love to it.
hmm
And then your quartz,
Clear quartz. Yeah.
clear quartz, I think if I remember right,
It's a
it's more
cleansing.
like a cleansing energy transfer type
hmm
stone. Yeah.
Yep. And it kind of like sanitizes things too,
hmm
for lack of a better, it spiritually sanitizes
Oh yeah. Oh
kinds
yeah.
of things. It neutralizes things too.
So
So,
with that's what I should have been doing is like have a pure quartz too when I do that little
hmm
trick because
yep,
that would help. That would help
yep,
with transmuting the energies.
absolutely. Yep. So do you get into the oils too, like essential oils and
I
that
haven't.
kind of thing too?
Joe doesn't even do any of this stuff. I'm the one that
Nope.
does it all.
I don't do nothing.
You
He
don't
goes
do
on
nothing.
investigations and he sets up the websites and he
He's
does
your
a lot
technical
of
guy.
stuff. He does a lot of stuff.
There you go.
But when it comes
I'm a
to
walking
like the
vampire.
crystals, knowing the crystals and reading cards and stuff like
Yep.
that, he doesn't do any of that.
Oh, 'cause I'm a vampire.
Are you an energy vampire?
I'm gonna live forever.
Yeah, he's a drain on.
It's a joke.
I'm gonna
I,
live
I mean,
forever.
I've got so many jokes because of what happened, but it started because of what I used to do. Um, I used to work in. I have an investigative background,
Okay.
and I got diagnosed with blood cancer. But during the
hmm
time that I was working security or as a private investigator or whatever I was doing, a lot of times I'd be waking up as the sun was going down, and I'd be going to sleep about the time the sun was coming up. Most of the time, I eat my meat, especially the beef. How do I
Oh
do
my
that,
god.
Mark?
I'll take a steak, I'll put it on the grill until it just starts to get that grayish brown and flip it over until the other side gets that way and throw it on the plate for him.
Okay,
Okay then.
That's the way he eats steaks.
you know. So, so
Okay.
everybody used to make a joke because of my lifestyle that I was a vampire. Well, back in '95, December 4th, 1995, I was diagnosed with AML leukemia, form of blood cancer. Kind of funny,
hmm
ironic in a way. And yeah, it's been going on since then,
Yeah.
because I actually died, flatlined a few times, and here I am still walking. I wasn't supposed to live to see Christmas that year, and the bone marrow transplant and everything I went through was only supposed to extend my life about 10 years, and I'm well past that.
hmm
So I'm already
Yeah.
past my expiration date.
Well, and I think the will to live too is a big
Oh,
factor.
yeah, the will to live is a very
hmm
powerful thing. It
Absolutely.
really is. If you
hmm
don't have the will to live, you ain't gonna make it.
Nope.
I mean, I defied doctors and science at the time.
hmm
They all were pointing that I was not gonna make it to see Christmas that year, you know, and here I
Yep.
am. What was it? We calculated it 20 some odd years later, you
Something
know.
like that.
Yeah, we
You have
calculated it December 4th this year on the anniversary.
You definitely have not reached your higher purpose in this
No.
life. So,
And before the leukemia, I was in a car accident that actually was supposed to have killed me too, but it didn't.
Yeah.
You know, they had me that on the radio and everything.
There's something
Yeah.
that he hasn't achieved yet.
yep. There's a higher purpose that you have not achieved, or a lesson that you have not learned yet.
So I keep saying I'm a vampire. I'm gonna live forever.
Oh well,
There
if
you
it's
go.
if there has something to do with a lesson, he ain't ever gonna die.
You know, it's better than I mean, it's better than going around saying that I'm Charles Manson.
No, let's not do that.
You know,
Let's not do
I,
that.
I was driving down the road one day. My mom looks over and say, "Hey, you look like Charles Manson." It's like, yeah, well, thanks a lot, Mom.
Yep. Let's not say that though.
That was when there was a lot less gray hair, though.
Yeah. Yep. But anyway,
Well,
so
so
yeah.
is there anything else you'd like to add, like about any event things that might be coming up for you, or
No, I don't have any major events coming up. I do have a couple of, investigations scheduled out with some other groups, but nothing that's majorly going on at the moment. If they can go over to Facebook, my group, the Soul Connections Investigations group, they can go on there, and as we get things, we'll post them.
Okay.
I don't like posting other people's work on my site, any of their evidence on my site. I
Okay.
like to do it whatever I'm doing, not what everybody,
Oh, that's the way.
everybody else's stuff. So I usually try like I said, for now, we're not doing a whole lot because now it's getting colder and
Oh
COVID's
yeah.
getting worse again. So I'm just trying to investigate with other teams as they have things come up. But other than that, I do my card readings and, stuff like that. But if they can go over to the Facebook page and kind of check it out a little bit and send some love that way, that would be
Mm.
fantastic.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
So, do you one more quick question.
Sure.
When you do your card readings, do you do them online or do you
I prefer to do them in person, but I have done them online. Obviously, with the pandemic, you have to kind of accommodate a little bit for
right?
that. But however, when I do that, I'm still doing them in the same format. Like I have a piece of paper off to the side that I jot stuff down as I'm getting it along with the reading, and then I use it and I send screenshots to them so they have it for their records too, and they are able to take screenshots of all their cards, so on and so forth. But I do prefer in person. I really do.
Okay.
But yes, I can do them online. I just would prefer in person.
Okay.
I will accommodate. Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
Joe.
Something
But
that
thank you.
usually always comes up, but doesn't.
Sure.
Got a bucket list?
Me?
Places you want to investigate?
Places that I'd like to investigate. Well, I know that I would love to get across the pond because I did a bunch of genealogy work and I found out a lot of my ancestors are from England, Scotland, and Ireland. And there's actually a castle that's still standing to this day that my ancestors inhabited at one point because it was a gift from the king. So I would love to get over to Ashton Hall up in Wales. I would love to.
That is strange because that sounds like my family. On my dad's side,
Yeah.
we have a Scottish Highlandsman that
Yep.
came down to the English countryside,
Mm-hmm.
got in good with the king, became his
Yep.
tax collector. The king granted him 100,000 acres of land and gave him a dukeship.
Yep. So mine was it was on the Privy Council for King Charles, and one of my 14th great grandfather or something like that.
Wow.
On my father's side. So yeah, and he was on the Privy Council. So if you know much about English history, King Charles was, he had to have an arrest warrant out for him, and then he had an execution warrant out for him. And my ancestor signed both because he was part of the Privy Council. And then he had to run off to America because there was a revolt and the whole 9 yards. But prior to that, he was given Ashton Hall, and Ashton Hall was his residence as long as he was in good with the king. Well, of course, when you're on duty with the king, you travel to different locations to do his bidding and check up on things.
Yep.
And I found out that a lot of my ancestors had multiple families in every country because of the traveling. They would be in certain locations for months and months on end. And what was a man to do? So, but no, it's interesting. So I would love to go to Ashton Hall because our family crest is actually still hanging in Ashton Hall.
That is cool. That is
so
really,
yeah,
really
so that's
cool.
like my bucket list. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. There's an awful lot of card readings that have to happen for that to but yeah. So, but that's my
you never know. You never know what will come of it.
Yeah, the lottery's playing tomorrow, I think. You never know.
Why not?
Well, let's see. You got 2 different lotteries, and that draws 2 times a week.
Yep, there you go.
So.
Yep. And I joke about that with people too. If you're coming to me for the lottery numbers, forget it. I'm not going to tell you because I want it for myself.
Yeah, of course.
I don't share.
There is an unwritten rule though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much the spirit guides like you or not, and they are able to do it, but they will not do it.
I know. Yep. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
They are able to do it. They can see future, past, and present, but they will not do it. They won't.
No.
Because they know that it'll screw up the timeline.
Well, absolutely, and that also they will not interfere with your free will.
No, that's exactly what that is interfering with your free will.
Exactly. So anything that has to do with your decision making or anything like that, they will not interfere. So, and a lot of people don't understand that either. So,
but occasionally they will push you in the right direction.
They'll lay things in front of you. They'll open doors for you.
Whether or not to make that choice.
Exactly.
Yep. They will put the opportunities in front of you, whether you choose to accept them or not, is your choice and your free will.
Yep.
And then whatever your free will decision is will then determine your path.
Yep.
So, and there we go from there.
Exactly.
So. But I do appreciate you guys getting a hold of me. I've had a fantastic time. I hope I can come back.
Oh, definitely.
Soon. That would be great. I would love to be on again. Maybe we can pick a subject. Maybe you guys can do something like, we can do a recap of season 1 of Hellier or this episode of Hellier or something, because I'm sure you guys will love it. Check it out and let me know.
I've got it up on YouTube. I'm going to make sure I keep that, kind of like do the description thing or bookmark it. And
yeah, do that. And then just send me a quick message and let me know how you guys what you think about it.
I definitely want to check that out because I watched the entire series of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yep, I did too.
That was kind of intriguing.
Very much so.
All right.
See, I like Skinwalker because they have all the modern technology to help them kind of figure this all out, Whereas with Hellier, it's boots on the ground investigating.
Awesome.
So.
All right, Joe.
But yeah.
If you'd like, stick around. Okay. After we go off the air. You can stick around.
Yeah, if you want to stick around after we're off the air.
Sure.
All right. We'll be back.
Anything else,
Friday.
Jojo?
No, we'll be back Friday with what was his name? Uh-oh, I forgot.
We'll be back Friday with somebody.
Steve Ward.
There you go.
Steve Ward.
So. But anyway, thank you guys for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
No problem. You guys have a great night.
And everybody stay safe.
Stay healthy.
Yeah. Anything's possible.